Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, as I rise to second, I want to indicate to my chairperson that there is no cabinet in place except a few people who are the moment cabinet. I thought they are still undergoing vetting. But I'm happy with the enthusiasm of my brother who is an ODM member because they're excited being part of the cabinet in the history. And that shows the intention of everybody wanting to join government. So, Speaker, as I rise to second, let me make the following observations. County assemblies, Mr. Speaker, sir, essentially are the primary oversight. But unfortunately, some county assemblies and MCAs continue to be gatekeepers of ineffective, moribund, and inefficient county executives across our nation, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm saying this with a backdrop that I want to send my special accolades to Wajir County Assembly for refusing to become Wajir County Executive rubber stamp of passing a budget that do not reflect the wishes of the people of Wajir. So, Speaker, while I don't condone that they went to an extent of running away with the mess, I agree with the principle of not allowing to pass a budget where allocation, you know, first the office of the First Lady and Second Lady and PCS offices of the ladies have been scrapped. So I want to agree with members of County Assembly of Wajir County Assembly, and we want to see them becoming more enthusiastic, doing their job without fear on contradiction, Mr. Speaker. So I want to say let all the MCAs, county assemblies be proactive in budget making processes going into the future. It is their work under County Governments Act, under the Constitution, and therefore we hope to see MCAs taking their rightful place in ensuring oversight. Because many things, including yours of Garissa, would not have escalated to the Senate if the MCAs had done their job. So as much as we support them, we must also call upon them, Mr. Speaker, to do their job as per the Constitution, as per the devolution laws that have been set in place, so that we get a more value. And you know, Mr. Speaker, the advent of GNC protest has brought some level of self-reflection, including county governments and national governments, Mr. Speaker. So I hope after all these issues that have been raised nationally are being resolved, we want also to see county governments doing their job, giving value for the money that we appropriate under under the Constitution and under, as we even push, and the new CS nominee should be aware of Article 219 to ensure money is dispersed or on in time to county governments, so that when we hold them accountable, Mr. Speaker, it becomes easy, Mr. Speaker. I know the challenge is, Mr. Speaker, as I go to the second substrata, is that MCAs might argue that their welfare is not taken care of. But we have done our best through the SRC. We have tried to push SRC to improve on the welfare of the MCAs, Mr. Speaker, so that they get enough resources and their own personal resources to go into the support of ensuring they do oversight, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, I'm happy also that for the first time there is goodwill of financial autonomy for the MCAs, so that the clerk of the county assembly, and those are some of the recommendation, legislative intervention as a committee through the chairperson of our committee to ensure we have financial autonomy to counties, so that the clerk have their own CRF account at the National Treasury and be able to sign their money for the expenses within the county assembly, the way Parliament of Kenya is done. Our accounting officers are known, Mr. Speaker. Although here it reached some point where some funny officers were being introduced and given some funds, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Abbas? Sheikh.
I think I want to inform the Honourable Member, Honourable Cherargei, that what is going on in Wajir actually is not all the assembly actually is in agreement with the whole process. As much as we appreciate that this is the oversight they're doing, but what they're doing is actually more or less like a organism, because breaking even their own shares, like where they work from, the desk that they work from is where they're even breaking it. So But of course, they are asking for accountability and asking for a proper itemized budget. We'll commend them for that. But of course, it's not the way they are behaving is not acceptable behavior that we'll be able to encourage for those members to do that kind of business. As you know, legislative elected members of MCAs. Thank you for that information.
Thank you, Abbas. Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, I think I said very categorically, and you can check my answer. I say I support accountability, but I don't support them running away with the mess. I think it is important so that we put perspective, and they should do it with vigor and enthusiasm, Mr. Speaker. I hope in the course of today's sitting or tomorrow, Senator Abbas, who is the Senator of Wajir will give us a personal or a statement so that he can put to perspective as understanding order 52 or 53 to tell us what really transpired. Because while we agree there is no need of breaking chairs and other things within the assembly, he should be able to give us that perspective going into the future. So Speaker, the general, and therefore I was talking about financial autonomy. I think that is the last limit that I wanted to say, Mr. Speaker. Let county assemblies be given financial autonomy so that they have CRF. We get the clerk to become the accounting officer. Mr. Speaker, we are aware where governors decline to release money to county assemblies through CCM finance simply because they think MCAs have undermined or they have not done public relations exercise. Mr. Speaker, it's so sad. Whenever I work to my functions in counties, the person who does more public relation officer, the PRO of county government, is normally the MCA, Mr. Speaker. Yet the MCAs are supposed to do the oversight. They are not supposed to be telling us what the governor is doing. But you have reduced county officers to become cheerleaders, and you get MCAs telling us more what the governor is doing than what governor is doing and what governor should be saying they are doing. I don't know, in my county that is a situation. Maybe in Machakos or in Nyamira the story is totally different. But in silent tones, the MCAs have been telling us the reason we do this is so that we don't get denied of our location by CCM finance of respective county. So when we give financial autonomy to MCAs, I think now they'll be able to oversight. And you know the history of this parliament, that before our accounts were with the office of the president. Therefore, it means if you criticize the government, you could not cut your pay. So, Speaker, even here in Parliament, we want to mirror what you are doing in Parliament to county assemblies. Although, constitutionally, I have seen in Parliament, and maybe the Commissioner will say, in his presentation later, if he will contribute, is that we have had a situation where the Secretary to Parliamentary Service Commission has been watered down. There is an office called Chief Accounting Officer or Accounting Officer somewhere in between the provided under the Secretary of the Senate, Bwana Jeremiah Nyegenya, Mr. Speaker. And that undermining, that person has more money. And I'll be bringing a substantive statement. Where did that office create? Yet the Secretary to the Parliamentary Service Commission is the clerk of the Senate. But some cartels or some individuals who are hell-bent to undermine the work of the Senate made sure to introduce another extra officer in between the accounting officer who should be the secretary to the commission, Bwana Jeremiah Nyegenya, Mr. Speaker. And as a parliament, we must take a position on it. And I want to challenge our commission representative. I asked them sometimes back, Mr. Speaker, and they told us that, you know, we are few in Parliamentary Service Commission. But you should bring it back to the people. Go back to the people. They should bring it back to Parliament. When we raised issues about the functionality, our capacity, Mr. Speaker of Parliament, some of us were told to write some silent letters and whisper to powers be that we have a problem with the lift, we have a problem with the aeration in our rooms. Mr. Speaker, our room, committee room number 8, in the new wing, our chairman normally struggled to breathe because there is totally no aeration in the room, Mr. Speaker. Our visitors, and you have visited, sir, we were together with you in health committee. You saw the visitors or our witnesses crammed up in a corner, Mr. Speaker. If, God forbid, if COVID was to come back, Mr. Speaker, with the small spaces that we are talking about, it is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. You saw the invasion of Parliament the other day. I'm told they have used close to 100 million to do the repairs. But when you see the quality works of the seats, I highly doubt. I sat on one seat in the restaurant, Mr. Speaker. I almost collapsed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and that you should be putting a perimeter wall.
Senator Cherargei, would you want to be informed by Senator Mugeni?
No, I am sufficiently informed. I am sufficiently informed.
Is a senior counsel, you should...
If you ask me about the committee room number 8 used by CPAC, I know it because I have used it. Mr. Speaker.
Okay, what is your point of order, Senator Mugeni?
Mr. Speaker, any senator speaking before the House should be able to support the facts that he lays before this House. Senator Cherargei has stated that the Parliamentary Service Commission has spent 200 million to repair the damage that was caused by the Gen Z invasion of June 26th. Whereas, Mr. Speaker, Parliament is fully insured. It's Old Mutual that will undertake the repairs. So can he substantiate which Parliamentary Service Commission has spent the 200 million shillings to undertake repairs?
Senator Mugoni, just to correct you, the figure he mentioned was 100 million.
Oh, he didn't say 200.
Not 200, 100 million.
Right. So can he substantiate where he got the information that PS is undertaking the repairs? Yet we have a comprehensive insurance cover that passes that obligation to Old Mutual Insurance. So can he substantiate the allegation that PAC has spent 100 million to undertake the repairs, Mr. Speaker?
Senator Cherargei, can you substantiate or withdraw and go by the information provided by the Commissioner, Senior Counsel Mugeni?
Mr. Speaker, while I appreciate the enthusiasm of response of the Commissioner, Mr. Speaker, I need up to Tuesday so that I can provide. Not necessarily. I said, Mr. Speaker, the supervising body is Parliamentary Service Commission. The people who procured Old Mutual to provide insurance cover is the PSC. So, Mr. Speaker, let me finish kindly.
Okay,
I'm willing to substantiate by Tuesday and provide necessary facts because Old Mutual, as insurance, did not provide all the insurance cover. Because in the insurance policy of Old Mutual, it does not include attacks by GNC and protest. So, can I substantiate on Tuesday?
Yes, you can substantiate, okay. But just to get, yes, that is what I wanted to clarify with you, that you would substantiate the amount of 100 million spent by PSC on refurbishment of Parliament following the destruction by the demonstrators.
No, Mr. Speaker, in fact, I have not said the PSC spent. I'll provide information on the issue of repairs. And you will notice in my information that some of the repairs was incurred by the PSC themselves, Mr. Speaker.
So what you'll substantiate is the sum of the repairs done by PSC amounted to 100 million.
Including the insurance Old Mutual plus their policy document that they don't cover destruction of protest.
Very well, Senator. Please provide that information by Tuesday.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I was just explaining that we need to mirror what Parliament does because county assemblies are our small brothers and sisters, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so the issue of MCS, Mr. Speaker, we support them. The issue of salary review, personal emoluments, we want to assure that we shall push and ensure SRC. Mr. Speaker, you remember the President had held a meeting with all the MCS. So I hope SRC, I don't know, the chairperson of devolution, and one member, I think Senator Kalwale is here, is a member of Finance and Budget Committee. I don't know what they will do with SRC to table the recommendations that they have done on the issue of SRC salaries, review and remuneration. We are not pushing that they should be increment, but they should be given capacity. Even ward officers, Mr. Speaker, as we are given liaison officers at counties. We need them, the emoluments, the issue of moving, the issue to do oversight, Mr. Speaker. And I was sad when I saw Nyamira, I chaired, and one of the part of the Nyamira County Assembly chambers. And you know, Senator Okongo Omugeni should be nice to me, because I ensured that when the chambers of Nyamira County Assembly collapsed, I have directed that through the Committee Public Works must rule, or even Eacc to swing into action to ensure accountability. Mr. Speaker, the challenges counties are facing is budget performance, but this is attributed largely to delayed disbursement by the National Treasury. So we request the new CS of National Treasury to release money. The issue of interest, Mr. Speaker, we need to ensure there is proper surrender, but they are surrendering after time without interest, as per the PMF Act. The issue of ethnic composition, you find that most of the county assemblies are the conclaves, ethnic conclaves that must be relooked at, and therefore we demand that NCIC and the county assemblies respectively should look at the composition of ethnic staff establishment, third basic salary rule, and MCA should be told that you don't take your salary, all of it. You must obey a third principle in basic salary, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of county assembly and speaker's residence, Mr. Speaker, the limit has been indicated. Let's obey to that, Mr. Speaker. The issue of bending rules, and the chair has directed that county assemblies, Mr. Speaker, should abide by the resolutions, Mr. Speaker, resolutions of the issue of pending bills. So we have transmitted as a Senate that pending bills must be sought out as soon as possible, or will Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of SOCAT, CAF, and COG, I want to advise the Council of Governors, County Assemblies Forum, and the table of clerks of the county assemblies to come up with a proposal to anchor them to law. The more they spend the resources, the money that are allocated to spend on something that has not been provided through the legal authority is illegal, unconstitutional, and immoral. And going into the future as a committee, we shall be referring this expenditure to Eacc so that various officers can be surcharged and charged in court of law, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the late submission of documentation, we have noticed county assemblies have this documentation, but they continue to violate Section 65 of the Public Audit Act that recommends that any entity on the period of audit, that circle that the OAG goes, Mr. Speaker, should be given documents in time. So, Speaker, as we review the budget, I want to ask the people who allocate budget, especially us and the National Assembly, to give more resources to Office of the Auditor General. So, Speaker, if Auditor General was not functioning, and the biggest challenge, Mr. Speaker, and I want to say this, and you will allow me a minute, is that we need to resource OAG to visit projects. Mr. Speaker, what we are getting as a committee are narratives about Garissa, about Nandi, about Kakamega. We need to empower OAG to go to Nyamira and look at the county assembly of Nyamira with the public works and give us the, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, what I'm proposing as the chair, your colleague, the Speaker, is the chair of Liaison. We need even Public Accounts Committee and PIC to be given more more resources to do county visits. Because when we went to Isiolo, we are yet to visit Kakamega. Other counties, we make more impact because we are able to look at it, Mr. Speaker. When the governor of Marsabit appeared, there was an issue of a building issue. Was it the issue of fish or something? Was said. He was telling us that it has been submerged by water. So how can we verify? We need as the county to the committee to go and visit and look at it. When you come to Nandi, the governor, when it is in public accounts, he says new mother and baby unit of Kapsabet is complete. But I pass there every day. But if today the Public Accounts Committee was to visit Nyamira, to visit Nandi, to visit Kakamega, to visit Karisa, and we look at the projects one by one, Mr. Speaker, we will not be entertaining such narratives, Mr. Speaker. I want to encourage the House to take a decisive action. Mr. Speaker, going into the future, I just had 1 minute, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, 1 minute to conclude.
Yes. And that is why I am pushing, Mr. Speaker, let us give more funds to public accounts. Let us go to Turkana, Mr. Speaker. Turkana is a hardship area. 110 billion cannot be accounted for 10 years. Yet there is hunger in Turkana. There is insufficient water in Turkana. Irrigation projects have collapsed, Mr. Speaker. Somebody sank 200 million to build a governor's residence that does not exist. 1.5 billion was built in our headquarters, Mr. Speaker. 82 million was given to AC that is not functional. 6.5 million was made into a generator that does not exist, Mr. Speaker. And the EACC are doing nothing about it. The culprit is walking around, is in the protected area, Mr. Speaker. So we must, as a House, take a position, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would go on and become emotional because I feel bad, just like the senators, because we fight here to allocate money to counties, but we don't see value for that money. Mr. Speaker, with those very many remarks, to allow my colleagues, I beg to second and I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I will now propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on County Public Accounts on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of West Pokot County Assembly for the financial year 2018-2019 and reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Isiolo, Kiambu, Kitui, Marsabit, Narok, Nyamira, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Muranga County Assemblies for the financial year 2019-2020, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 7th March 2024. Honorable Senators, you will now be making your contribution. We'll start with Senator Boni Kalwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the importance of this particular report is such that I was expecting the entire House to be here. We are talking about the mother of oversight. There can be no oversight without the Public Accounts Committee, without the Public Investments Committee. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, using very strong words, I want to congratulate this committee for this commendable report. Mr. Speaker,